Hey guys, and welcome to Choice of the Pirate. I have never done anything like this on my channel before. It is an interactive novel, and if I like it, and if you guys like it enough, I may just see about buying the full version of this. This is just the demo, and possibly live streaming it and having you guys pick what you want to do because that would be cool. So, anyways, let's just jump right into this. Chapter 1, Scurvy Knaves. A cannonball hits the water astern of your ship's hull. The resulting splash soaks your clothing. You drag your sleeve across your forehead, succeeding only in spreading the water around. Could be worse, says the unflappable Caesar Lord, your closest friend, a huge, dark-skinned pirate who towers over you and the rest of the crew. They or they could have or they could have better aim. Your ship's last loaded cannon fires, drowning him out for a moment, fouling the air with smoke and brimstone. Luckily, the cannon didn't explode. Unfortunately, your cannonball also missed, and now you're out of gunpowder. Ye call that a hit, ye landlubbers? Screams your captain, the notorious cruel Captain Blackguard. It's unfounded criticism. Even he must know that the way the ships are closing on each other, there's no clear shot for a broadside, and for that you should all be grateful. Prepare to board, ye scurvy knaves, and make your peace with Davy Jones, for ye'll enter, er, yeah, for ye'll either send our enemies or him to see him yourself. The flag on the ship traded fire with you bears a skull and crossbones, with a rose clutched in its grinning teeth. It's the flag of Captain Adelaide Briar. But why do you recognize it? So let's see. I tried to sign on to her crew. The Crown despises her. And so do I. Captain Blackguard told us we're after her ransom. How about the Crown despises her, and so do I. Despite your current position on Captain Blackguard's crew, you're a Crown loyalist at heart, and because of Captain Briar's recent forays, uh, or forays, sorry, bleh, forays, successfully running the Crown blockade at Port Lucia, thus paving the way for other pirates to do the same. She's a primary target on the Navy's list of hated pirates. The Crown, in its ongoing efforts to rid the Lucany Sea of pirates, has put bounties on pirate ships, setting pirates against each other in hopes of making legitimate money or earning their pardons and letters of marque. Blackguard and Captain Adelaide Briar have a long history. The story is told in the port of San Alfonso, the pirate haven a few miles south. Say they were once lovers until Blackguard's obsession with finding the treasure of Ishmael the Lost came between them. Briar mutinied against Blackguard, stole his ship and crew, and marooned him. Other stories put Blackguard as less of a victim, claiming that he went mad with rage when he found out Briar had hidden a map from him that would have led him to the treasure, nearly killing her and half of his crew before coming to his senses. When he's out of hearing, other pirates call him Blackguard the Bloody. Blackguard is nearly as obsessed with destroying Briar as he is with finding Ishmael's legendary treasure. She was an obvious choice for his first bounty target. Wind, uh, wind round north to east, Blackguard's shout, and your crew tacks as the ship's, I don't know, pirate words or ship words. Um, Whatever that word is, your weather mage, yeah, calls a gust of wind, bringing the ships nearly side by side. No mercy! Blackguard screams. The ships groan in protest as their hulls collide. Caesar, who despite ship's tradition has long insisted you to call him by his first name, claps you on the back. See you on the other side, he says, and it's both a promise and a command. Wouldn't miss it, you say lightly. Caesar grins as he takes a leap across onto the enemy ship, not bothering with the grappling hooks your mates are using to draw the ships together. Pirates of Briar's crew swinging over from their rigging, and it wouldn't be long before both ships have erupted into combat, and there you are, standing at the rail. How er, how did you get into this mess? Let's see. Mess? This is what I live for. Piracy! A life of freedom and plunder. I took a job with Blackguard to avoid being arrested by the Crown. I hired on with Blackguard to avoid being conscripted into the Navy. I was captured by pirates as a youth and haven't found a way to free myself, or Blackguard gave me the option to sign on to his crew or walk the plank. I like this one. Life aboard ship has been hard for you, and you often long for something with a little less danger and a little more in the way of regular meals. You'll never know how you might have grown up if you'd lived in the respectable lands ruled by the crown. You don't remember much before your years aboard ship, and you know you're lucky to have survived to be the age that you are. There was a moment when you worked hard as a powder monkey, when you were when you were convinced you might not make it. But you've had fortune on your side, fickle lady that she is, at least until you ended up serving under Captain Blackguard. What a miserable ship's master he is. If you had enough gold to buy your own ship and to get out of your contract with Blackguard, you know you'd be a much better captain than he is. And really, gold and freedom are all it takes to be a pirate captain, which is why there's such a low bar for entry. What is it you despise the most about Blackguard? His cruelty to my shipmates, his stingy sharing of our plunder, or he's just not a very skilled pirate? Yeah, he's just not a very skilled pirate. While Caesar is more concerned about Blackguard's cruelty, even putting himself in the way of of the lash to spare other sailors, you have a more professional critique. Which of his areas of bumbling do you find most offensive? He's a bully, but his combat lacks finesse. He's about as sneaky as a cannonball. He wouldn't know diplomacy if it bit him. He's frankly an awful sailor, or he doesn't even understand what our weather mage does. Um, hmm. I would say he's a bully. Yeah. You may not be at the level of the dread pirate Flynn, but you can easily pick apart Blackguard's style, because he has no style. It's pure rage that carries him through battle, and it's practically unfathomable that he hasn't been slain by now. His defenses are so weak. Maybe today will be the day that Blackguard meets his fate. But in the meantime, you've got to be sure that you don't head off early into yours. Two of Briar's pirates swing onto deck next to you. You've no time to clear the rail onto Briar's ship, next to Caesar. You're in the middle of battle. What do you do? Let's see, my pistol and cutlass are already drawn. To battle! I use my magic to fight unconventionally. All's fair in combat, especially cheating. I use my knowledge of the ship to my advantage, or I try to talk my way out of combat. I'm gonna use my knowledge, because that's probably what I would do. You're not worried when pirates swing over, because you know right where you're standing, and you know exactly what hazards they're about to land in. There's no need for traps aboard ship. The deck is dangerous enough with a loose line and supplies. When one of the pirates lands next to you into a coil of line, you pull the belaying pin, keeping it secured. The line snaps around the pirate's leg, hoisting him aloft. Whoops. Simultaneously, a sheet of sail drops on your other opponent. He curses and struggles to free himself. You clock his covered head with the belaying pin, and he goes silent. Though your battle took only seconds, the scene around you has changed in the meantime, and the air is full of gunpowder. One of the weather mages, either Briar's or your own, you're not sure, shifts the wind. Both ships tack without the sailors being ready for it. You, and everyone else, stagger to keep your balance. You see Blackguard engaged in a duel with one of Briar's pirates, a tall woman who is Briar's first mate, you guess, near the steering wheel, not far from you. Blackguard is hard pressed. Maybe he really has met his match this time. Unfortunately, if he dies, Briar might turn the crew into the crown for Blackguard's bounty. So if Blackguard and the mate both die, that's two problems solved. I don't care what happens to the crew as long as Blackguard is killed. Or I'll defend my captain to the end. No, hell no. If Blackguard and the mate both die, that's two problems solved right there. Ideally, both villains will perish in this combat, as will Briar, and the world will be rid of people plaguing your existence. Maybe you could even ca- eh, commandeer one of the ships, given the opportunity. The ideal so rarely happens though. When it does, it's usually been given a little help. So I keep fighting other pirates and wait for an opportunity to throw my dagger into the fray. I summon to wave I summon a wave to sweep them off the deck. I use some line to trip them up. I release the belaying pins holding up the mainsail, or I mimic Briar's voice to distract both pirates. Um, this one's hard. Hmm. I think I'm gonna mimic Briar's voice just for the hell of it. Your shipmates have told you time and again that you do an excellent impression of Blackguard's former love. Time to test it out on harsher critics. You call out in that hoarse voice Briar is known for, swearing that Blackguard will pay for his many sins. Unfortunately, the first pirate to look toward you is the first mate. Blackguard takes the opportunity to run her through, and soon the mate is dead at his feet, still looking for where the voice of her own captain came from. Moments later, Blackguard approaches you, fending off another attack before reaching your side. I can't prove you're guilty of anything, he hisses, but I don't need to. I'll be keeping an eye on ye, sailor. The way he says it, it's as though he'd never really noticed you before, and you suspect he doesn't even know your name. With all the grime and salt caked on your tunic, you doubt he can even tell your gender. Let's see. And that's just how I intended it. I'm a woman, I'm a man, I don't see myself as either a man or a woman. People used to see me as a woman, but I'm a man. People used to see me as a man, but I'm a woman. Oh, I really love how inclusive this is actually. I'm a woman though. What is your given name? Rachel Al Alvilda? Yahima Esperanza. I don't like any of these names. You know what? We're just gonna be Lala Legacy. Boop. And what is your family name? Lala Legacy de Leon. Del Mar? Lala Legacy Del Mar. I like that. One day, with enough fame or infamy, you will earn a moniker. But for now, you are only Lala Legacy Del Mar, a lowly sailor your captain couldn't be bothered to remember. But the way he's looking at you now, you can tell he'll remember what you've just done. You hear the familiar sound of incantations in the old island language, my pure or something, I don't know. As both your as both of your weather mage and the weather mage of Briar or on Briar's ship chant to try to control the water and sky around you. Dueling winds never bode well for the sailors between, and this time is no different. Before either you or Captain Blackguard can leap back into the fray, a terrible scream of grinding hulls cut across the deck as the winds push the ships into each other. A breath later, and the air explodes around you, flattening everyone to the quivering deck. The winds do not stop. The ships push into each other, and the air tears at their hulls until it's clear that both ships are going to shake themselves to pieces. Abandoning ship is the only thing to do, but rather than ordering the crew to flee, Blackguard is swearing up a storm, cursing at his now unconscious weather mage to fix things. The air holding you to the deck releases, and you have time to move. But where will you go? All right. So this is getting pretty interesting. Blackguard's cabin to save the charts, below deck to make sure everyone gets out, the cargo hold to retrieve what treasure I could. The dinghy. Get me out of here. No, I'm gonna be nice. Let's go make sure everyone gets out. Most of the crew were on deck for the battle, but it's possible someone's still on the berth deck, or worse, hiding in the hold. You can't in good conscience abandon ship while there might still be people on her. The deck trembles beneath your feet as you stumble down the ladder to get below decks. The berth deck isn't faring much better. You can see the leaks already springing through the hull, and the groan of the wood beneath you makes it clear she's not going to last much longer. You list through the gallery like a seasick landlubber, and spot the ship's cook cowering among his pots and pans. There isn't anyone else on the aft end of the berth deck, unless they're hiding in the captain's cabin behind a locked door. "Get on deck!" you yell at the cook, but he doesn't seem to hear you. Um, I'm gonna offer comforting words and walk with him to the ladder. You mutter comforting words about how all will be all right, and get the man to his feet. As soon as you've put him on or in motion, he cooperates, following you blindly until you're both above. You think you have time to go back down one more time, but it might be hairy. Where do you look for others? Um, the cargo hold. The cargo hold has taken the brunt of the damage from the duel of the weather mages, and the small space is difficult to navigate even at the best of times. "Is anyone down here?" you shout, and you're surprised to hear a shout to the aft. "Help!" It's hard to see in the darkness, but you think it's the cabin boy, a lad named Jim. "I'm coming!" you call, and you press onward, despite the way the cargo has tumbled out of its bindings. When you reach him, your stomach tightens. He's wedged beneath a barrel of fresh water, and though it looks like he's been trying to squeeze his way out, he's stuck fast. The ship's shuddering is coming faster now, and there's not much time to get back above. I have to leave him. There's no time to save his life and my own. Use my magic to shift the water in the barrel like a wave, push it off him, or I break the barrel open to let the water out. Use the magic. You can't focus on shit on the incantation, and the ship's falling to pieces around you. The whole burst of water hits you like a club, throwing you off your feet. As the water floods into the hold, throwing you away from the cabin boy, you crack your shoulder against another barrel. You could just make it out of the hole in the hull, and you realize your only chance to survive is swimming through it. You hope that Jim will make it despite the odds, but you can't save him. You'll be lucky if you can save yourself. You dive into the incoming stream and pull yourself around the outer hull, scraping your hands against the barnacles. Then you stroke upwards towards where you can see the sun reflecting on the surface. For a moment, you think that it's too far, that despite everything, you are going to sink to your death. Then a huge black hand plunges down into the water and drags you up. You gasp for air, and Caesar Lord grins. "I wondered where you had gone, Lala Legacy," he says, and his relief is almost palpable, despite the lightness of his expression. "Permission to come on board?" you ask wearily, and Caesar hulls you without further fuss into the dinghy, I guess. He and several of your crewmates are rowing. The wrecks of the two ships finally sink below the horizon as your dinghy arrives at the port several hours later. There may have been a few times when you've been happier to have solid ground beneath your feet, but you're hard pressed to think of one. Captain Blackbeard is issuing orders to his remaining crew at a dock much farther down. You see Briar doing the same to hers. You've lived to fight another day, but it looks like there'll be no escape from your contract with Blackguard yet. His sharp eyes finds you in the crowd, and you know exactly what his expression means. So, here you are, back in the port you left earlier today. If the captain has any kindness in his soul, which you doubt, you'll be headed to the Black Dog for a drink or some music. You can always hope. Alright, so that was chapter 1. If you guys liked this, I may do chapter 2. And again, if you guys really like it, just tell me down below in the comments, and I may think about live streaming it so you guys can pick out all the choices instead of me. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!